Nobody.
Jaylen Brown.
Your superstars have off games.
Follow us on social media at the Celtics Talk Weekly.
How's it going, everyone? And welcome back into another episode, a very special episode, mind you, of the Celtics Talk Weekly. I am your host, Rob Atayan. Joined with me is my co-host, Justin Lowe, and a very, very special guest, Coach Robert Allen. Coach, thank you so much again. I know I said it off camera, but I got to say it on for taking the time out of your day, for joining us in.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna say it before we start, Justin. You know the drill. If you're not following us on all our social medias, everything will be in the link down below. You guys have been showing amazing love, so we appreciate that. But enough of that. That's not what this episode's about. Let's get right into it. So, if you guys don't know who Coach Robert Allen is, you probably do, but if you don't, he's worked with some very, very, very well known. He's an NBA trainer. He's worked with some very well-known guys. I'm gonna list a couple: JD Davidson, Jay Scrub, our two Boston boys right now. I believe Bol as well. MJ Walker. I mean, the list goes on, and we're gonna get all into it. We're gonna ask you all about it, but I think where I want to start off here, right? Because I think all three of us are basketball heads, right? We all love basketball. We live, we breathe, we eat basketball. Growing up, do you think that was your house kind of per se? Was it like a basketball born house? Like when you were growing up, was it like all basketball, or was basketball kind of something that just found you, around the way?
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. But as you said, basketball definitely was a part of my home. My father played. My dad and my uncle, they were street ball legends back in our city, Selma, Alabama. They didn't have enough money to, back in the day to be on the team. They had to work for my grandmother. So they just used to go to the parks and run the parks. So when I was born, my dad put the ball in my hand, and I just come from a basketball family. Now I did play multiple sports. I played football and baseball, but it was just mostly basketball. My oldest cousin was Doc Robinson. He played for Auburn University. I don't know if you guys remember Chris Porter. When Auburn was number one in the country, not this 2 years ago, but they were the first team to be number one in the country. He was the All-American point guard for Auburn. So I grew up watching him. My other cousin, Kenny Allen, was a JUCO All-American, played at Troy University. So, and like all my family basically played basketball. So I watched basketball all my life.
So, Coach, did you play hoops growing up? Like, I know, like, you're into coaching right now, but how did the coaching aspect of it come out? I mean, to obviously be a coach, you have to have a lot of knowledge, and you also have to have a lot of patience as well. But where did the coaching part come out? Was this just something that you just kind of had a passion for, was helping out others and teaching?
Yeah, it's ironic you asked that question. If I would have told you 14 years ago that I would be coaching and training, I would have told you telling the story. Of course, all basketball players, the main goal is to make it to the NBA.
Right.
Some are fortunate, some are not. It's harder to get in the NBA than it is to hit the lottery. So I'm only 5'7", so you can just imagine.
Right.
But yeah, I played in high school. One top point guards of the state of Alabama. I came out in 2003, same year as LeBron James, Chris Paul, all those guys. So I was a McDonald's All-American nominee for the state of Alabama. So I went to Temple University and played for John Chaney. So I left the good state of Alabama and went to Philadelphia. And then after my playing career, got into playing overseas 1 year. Then I just decided not to do it anymore because I hurt my knees. And man, I just wanted to give back. To be honest, I wanted to give back to kids
Right.
in my area. So it was a AAU team by the name of the Cobb Purple Knights. and they weren't very good. But I was just like, hey, I was still playing in the gyms, so a lot of the kids used to watch me play, and we weren't very good. But then I had one kid. Ironically, this kid is the biggest Boston Celtic fan ever. His name was Ricky Sherman. I
Mm.
met him he was in the seventh grade, and he was the first person to call me by my name, Coach Rob. So I didn't even have an alias or anything. He was just like, "Hey, Coach Rob." So I started training him, and then after that, man, I just started to see what I was good at. God showed me what I was good at, developing guys, and that just took off from there. From I worked with him for about a year and a half by himself, and then a lot of people started seeing my work, and I mean that's here we are. That's where we at today. So it's been a blessing. It's also been a journey.
How did you kind of, I mean, you're working with the pros now. I mean, how did this come about necessarily? Was it a process? Do you think social media also helped when, other people around the world have seen your work
Mm-hmm.
and have seen you work with different players? Do you think that has influenced that a little bit, helped you out
Uh,
in like a little promotion?
100%. And
Mm,
I'll give you a story. When I first got to Atlanta, my barber by the name of Dre the Barber, he was a big barber in Atlanta, and I found him on Instagram
mm,
on the Explore page because people were just messing up my head. So I was like, I gotta find a good barber. So
Right, right, right.
I found him, and I went to his barbershop. He had 10 heads he had to do before me.
mm.
So I was like, social media is real big. So when I got in the chair, at that time, Joe Johnson was like the big dog in with the Hawks at the
Right.
time. And so I got in the chair. I got my degree in accounting, so I was working as an accountant at the time. And I got in the chair, and he was just like, "Hey man, what you do?" So I didn't want to sound corny, so I said, "Well, I train basketball players."
There you go.
He
There you
said,
go.
"He said okay." He said, "You train basketball players?" He said, "All right." He said, "Well, my best friend is Joe Johnson for the Hawks."
Oh
He's like,
Mm.
"How about I?" Um, he said, show me your Instagram page so I can show him uh so I can show him your work, and I didn't have one,
yeah.
and so that kind of opened my eyes. And man, I'm just being honest, it was a journey. Started from kids to middle school to high school, and to what you see today. So it's been a process. So you can't skip steps. Some people can, but um, I'm just being honest. I enjoyed where I'm at right now with the steps. So
Right. So I think that like there are so many aspects that go into like a NBA player's game, right? Like I played ball in high school. Justin played a little bit of basketball in high school too, but it's on a whole nother level, right? Obviously, firsthand. So
mhm.
my question, I guess, is when you're working in the off season, right? When you are trying to figure out, okay, how can I get Jay Scrub better? How can I get this, JD David? Like, where do you start, right? What's your first line of attack per se in terms of getting them ready for the NBA season?
I would basically say the biggest thing for me is just going back and watching film. So those two guys you named, they're both on two ways. So most of their time was in the G League last year. So you go back and watch some nuances of their games, just trying to see what we can. Of course, you want to build on what you're good at. I tell this all the time. 98% of the NBA is 3-and-D guys,
Mm.
role players. 2% are superstars. So
Mm.
if you want to be on that floor, you got to find your niche, right?
Right.
So what we do, and then having a two-way, those guys get to go down on their assignments, and basically the team lets them do what they want. Not say do what they want, but they have a lot of more leeway because they're a
Right.
two-way guy, so they're getting invested. So look at a little bit of both. Watch some. Depends on how much they played in the NBA. But for them, you're looking at the G League film, and then you're also looking at what I like to do is look at. So they're with the Celtics, right? I
Yeah.
like to look at all the Boston sets. I like to look at, okay, where are you going to be in this position? where are you going to be in this position? So at the end of the day, we know Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to have the ball in their hands. All right. So where are you going to be? Malcolm Brogdon's going to have the ball. So where are you going to be when they're running certain actions? So just a little bit of both. Look at shooting percentages, how many times you turn the basketball over, your ball handling. So we still working on a bevy of things, but you're trying to look at what they're going to provide for the offense and also defensive principles. Like, are you a good off the ball defender or on the ball defender?
Right.
So those are the two. So that's what I do.
So like, if you were to pick a so let's stick, obviously we're Celtics guys, so we're gonna stick on to the Scrub and Davidson, right? That's kind of like where I'm interested at least in terms of if you look at Boston, right? Obviously one game away from the NBA finals, almost pulled off a historic comeback. You look at Scrub's game, you look at Davidson's game, and you look at what Boston is lacking right now. Where do you think they can play? Where do you think they can contribute to winning basketball? Because there definitely is a spot for them.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is both of the guys are young, right?
Right.
Young and talented. I mean, I know people. Scrubs been in the league for 3, 4 years, but he's still only like 22. So that's
Yeah.
still real. Yeah, 22, 23. So he's still young. So,
He is
um,
young. Wow.
yeah. So he's not a 25, 26 guy. So he's still young. So I think the biggest thing is, uh, let's start with JD. I think JD has vision. JD is very athletic. His shooting has gotten better. Um, I think he could help be that facilitator.
Right.
Because have Malcolm's probably gonna have the ball in his hand. I also saw a report that Derek's gonna play some point next year.
Right.
Correct.
So I think what all comes down with JD is if what the Celtics do with Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
I
Very good
think
point.
I mean, if Peyton, of course, we seen that he wanted out. So if he does get that, I think JD can step into that role
Yeah.
because he's a good facilitator. Of course, I know some people say, "Hey, in summer league, he led the summer league in assists." I don't think people.
Coach. I don't say it's only summer league. I don't say
Yeah.
it's only
So
summer league.
Justin's a big summer league guy.
yeah, so of course he had turnovers, but I think that had to do with a lot. And he'll tell you that had to do with a lot of him being able to have a roller, a real hard roller, because he's good at throwing the lob passes. I think they had the guy Mufon, the guy that was on the
Fandu
2K.
Cabanele. Yep.
Yes. So if you watch him play with him, you can see as soon as he sets that screen, he's rolling. JD
Right.
sees him every time. So I think that was kind of a little bit with the summer league, but he can dish the ball out, and that's what does Boston have? Scores.
Right.
You can get it to Tatum, you can get it to Jalen, so they don't have to do as much. To getting handling the ball. Derek White, he can throw lobs to Robert Williams.
Yeah. I was gonna say that they got a great lob presence and
Luke
pick and
Cornett.
pop with Al Horford.
yeah.
There's so many different aspects what he can do, and he's getting better by the day. I mean, he's a young kid. He's from Alabama like I am. So, and then he's getting better defensively. So, somebody like Scrub, I think he takes on. I think he'll be a good a good guy coming off the bench to get him scoring prowess. I think
Do you know why?
everybody, huh?
Do you know why?
Why?
Because he's a lefty.
Yeah.
Because he's a lefty,
So,
coach.
I mean, Scrub knows how to score.
Right.
I mean, he's been doing it since JUCO. I mean, he's showed he can do it in the league. So just being able to get out there and be an instant offense. Also, what I also like with him in summer league, and I didn't know this was going to happen because we talked about it. They were going to let him play a little backup point, so let him be a facilitator. So I think the good thing is, Jay being ready, being ready to shoot. If Tatum drives, Brown drives, because he can shoot the basketball. And then he's athletic as well. So I think those guys really have an opportunity to help this year. I think the thing with JD is just a matter of what Peyton's gonna do.
Right.
But I think Scrub has a chance. I think both of them do to get contracts.
Right.
To be on the contract. But I think that's where their game would advance with the Celtics.
I know you and Jay have had a very solid, very well built friendship for a little while now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he played with the Clippers. He was with the Magic last year. He's been playing with the Lakeland Magic as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was only I know summer league coming into it, right, and he gets with the Celtics, and some roster spots open up, and there's a real opportunity for him to come play in Boston. What
Mm-hmm.
was going through his mind? I know you're not in his mind, but as a close friend and as somebody who works with him on an almost day-to-day basis, that a team calls up and it's the Boston Celtics and says, "Hey Jay, we like how you played. We'd like to suit you up in a Celtic uniform next season." How did you feel? How did Jay feel in that moment when that happened?
Oh man, it was surreal actually. Um, I know, with his agent Corey Markham. Me and him been guys. We've been friends for a long time. So, that friendship started when he signed Jay. In the COVID draft, I like to say, I did his pre-draft. So you remember that year, guys were with you for
Mm,
almost. The draft was until October, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
was with Jay for almost 8 months. So we really got to know each other. But just as you said, his journey. But I remember when his agent came to us and was like, "Hey, Brad really likes Scrub. I don't call him Jay, I call him Scrub. Like he really likes him." And he went up there for a mini camp, did well. It was like, "Hey, we want you on the summer league team." So we started working. Like, okay, what kind of sets you gonna run? What kind of things? And then having being familiar with JD, I knew it would be a good fit because I know what type of player JD is.
mm,
But man, every game, because I had 8 guys that played in summer league. So
right. Wow.
every every game, just to see him come off the bench and give good minutes. I think if he would have played the whole time, he might have averaged about 25, 27. But I
Mm,
don't think that's the biggest thing in some league. You're trying to see guys that can help your team, not guys that can
right.
just score, 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 score.
Right.
But just to see when he got on the floor and he produced, I was like, "There's no way." And then I just seen how the Boston fans, every time you watch the game, you go to Twitter, "Hey man, we need that guy. We like this guy. We like
Oh
this
yeah.
guy." So
All in on Scrub.
um, I still remember, the agent's like, "Hey man, he signed a 2-way." I was like, wow. And then just to see he was excited. I listen, he was
He
very excited.
it, Yeah, he announced
But
it. Well, they announced it during the game,
yeah,
and
right
and
before
I'm
the
sure he found
Magic
out.
game, right? It was right before the Magic game, right?
It
Right.
was, which I remember, Coach. I remember texting this guy. First of all, Jay Scrub is like one of the most professional athletes I think I've ever met in terms of he appreciates his fans. He appreciates his support from everybody. He makes sure to even get back to them and
Mm-hmm.
respond when he can. I couldn't believe I was texting with Jay Scrub through the summer league. There were times where I had to hold myself. I'm like, I need to let this dude focus. But I remember before the Lakers game, we
Mm-hmm.
were we were having a conversation, and this was before he signed the contract. I ordered a Jay
Listen,
Scruggs jersey. Right,
listen.
I'm a huge jersey collector,
I don't
and
even got one of them.
Yeah,
I
that's
got
what
to
I was
get
I
one.
telling
sent
him.
the
I
Yeah,
don't think Jay Scrubs got a Celtics
yeah. I don't
jersey.
even
Yeah, I
think he
don't think
got one
Scrubs got
of
one yet.
them.
so I ordered it, and I texted him, and I ordered. He's, "Oh man, that's sick," and he goes, "I don't know if I'm gonna keep 29 though if I get to the bean." And
uh,
I sent him a picture of my receipt, and I said, "Well, I already ordered it, so if you switch up, I'm the OG. I got your summer league jersey." But I'm
Hey,
like, "There's
just
no
look at
numbers
it.
to pick
Hey,
from."
just look at it. If he does well, it might be a collector's item. So you'll be the
Well,
only one
now
to have a 29 scrub
that's
jersey.
what I'm saying. Now I'm saying like, "Hey man, like I don't know, like can we negotiate? Maybe you don't take 29, so I could just keep. I could be the OG." But in all seriousness, Coach, does it have? I don't know if like obviously I'm not saying like I'm not dissing the other 29 teams, and I'm not trying to make it sound like he's ungrateful for any opportunity at all. But it's the Boston Celtics. It's a team. It's a contending team. It's one of the most storied teams. Did that have any extra value when you were told, you're one of your players? I don't know. I don't want to name them clients. I don't know if that's disrespectful or not, but was going to
You can name
Beantown. I mean,
whoever you want to name. Yeah.
I mean, as Rob, my co-host, mentioned earlier, Celtics were one way from the NBA Finals, and now Jay Scrubb has a serious position to play in Boston and honestly get minutes.
Yeah. It man, because I'm so used to, I'm training in Atlanta, so I
Right.
get to see in the off season Al Horford. I get to see Malcolm Brogdon in the summer, so they're in the same gym I'm in. So just to know he's with, Tatum and Jalen Brown is from Atlanta. So and they just got Porzingis. So it's a lot of pieces, and he could have an opportunity to be on the championship team, in
Right.
the Eastern Conference. So it's crazy, man. It's surreal. Like just me being my dad is a big Boston Celtic fan.
Mm.
JoJo White
Oh yeah.
was his favorite player. So I wasn't the biggest Celtic fan, but at the
Why?
same
Who?
time,
What? Why?
Yeah, who?
Who are
um,
you? Who?
uh,
Don't say
of course,
Lakers. I better not hear the Lakers.
nah, I was a Kobe,
Okay.
but I never like. I'm telling you, as being a basketball savant, somebody
Yeah.
that watches
Mhm.
basketball, I don't think too many dudes can give you a team. We can give you players that we
That's
like.
fair. Yep.
Like, of course, I love Michael Jordan, so everybody was a Bulls fan.
Right.
Right.
I was a Kobe fan. I wasn't particularly. I hated the Lakers for a while, and then I think after Kobe, the Kobe Shaq feud kind of made me like Kobe a little bit more
Right.
because he just had that attitude where I don't care.
Right.
But and then watching the big three with the Celtics, Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been a players person, not
Right.
sort of team. But I got to see my daddy showed me film of Larry Bird, and I think he gets disrespected the most out of all time greats. Me personally,
Oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
really do. I really do. I don't think people know how good he was, but I mean, I just being with a story franchise like that. And last year, I didn't get to come to Boston, but I'm definitely coming this year.
Oh, you
So
You're
gotta
I got,
come to
coming.
Boston.
yeah, I got to see it this year. So
Have you ever been to a Celtics game?
actually, I have not.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Oh.
Yeah,
Boston does it a little bit different. Boston fans we do it a little bit different.
yeah, y'all don't have those accents though, like Boston people.
No, yeah,
So
no.
I know they got that clam chowder and
Like
all
chowder,
that.
yeah,
Chowder. What the
Yeah. So I know
fuck?
y'all. So,
Well,
but you know what was funny? I've actually been to a Red Sox game.
oh, you have Fenway's a
Yeah.
spot you got to go to. Everyone's got to go to Fenway once in their
Yeah,
life.
I've been to Fenway, but I haven't been to a
Garden.
Celtics game. Yep.
Well, you're gonna
So,
this year.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
oh yeah, you got to come out. So, it's funny. So you're based in Atlanta, and so Atlanta native Jalen Brown, he just signed a bag, right? $304 million. So I feel like it would be wrong. You said it yourself. You're in the gym. You're seeing those Atlanta born, right? Brogdon and Horford, those guys. Atlanta's got deep roots, right? Jalen Brown, $304 million. What do you think? Overpay? Underpay? Just right?
Nah,
I want to
I,
hear it.
I would never say somebody's overpaid. That's just me personally. I stay out of people's business, but man, just from seeing Jalen Brown in high school to now, I think he's one of the most. As you said, you think Jay is one of the most professional. I think Jalen Brown is. He's one of those guys that he does for the community. Uh, and I think he got a bad rap from the last series when everybody lost saying he had like all the turnovers, no left hand. I'm like,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
really? Like, I just think, you know how it is, man. When you being at that level, everybody try to find anything to
Anything.
I mean, we
anything.
saw it the year before with Tatum, where Tatum had a rough NBA Finals, but nobody was talking about the Game 6 against Milwaukee. Nobody was talking about the Brooklyn series. Like, it's like it's a journey, and they focus on one thing and then they harp on it.
it's what have you done for me lately?
Yep.
That's
Right.
how
Yeah.
that's how
Right.
sports is. It doesn't
Right.
matter what you did game 5, what you did that last game. If you
Mm.
sucked, they're gonna make sure you know it. So
Right.
I mean, I think, the guy's work. I mean, he's been an all-star. I think if Boston doesn't keep him, they don't have a chance to win a championship. That's just me
Right.
personally.
Totally
Yeah.
agree.
So, and I've known his trainer for a long time, Dez, the general here in Atlanta. So just to see him grow up, man, and I'm happy. I'm from Alabama, but I'm in Atlanta at this point, so I root for all Atlanta kids. I
Right.
mean,
Mm.
just as you said, man, Atlanta has been producing a lot of big time
A
guys.
lot, a lot. And it's funny because it's like I look at Jaylen Brown's career, drafted in 2016, rookie year. Guys go at different paces, right? It's some people make it happen in 2 years, some it's 4, right? Brown was one of those guys where 2019 with that Kyrie and squad with Hayward and he's coming off the bench. He was a
Mm-hmm,
six
Right.
man for that team.
mm-hmm,
Fast forward 4 years, the guy just keeps improving. It is just like amazing in a stat. The dude hasn't hit his prime yet, and
nah,
27 a game. So all NBA second team. He got back his all-star nod. Defensively speaking, he's so there. Offensively, I think he's got one of the smoothest games I've seen. So
mm-hmm,
I go to a lot of Celtics games, and I remember Jaylen Brown was a rookie. I wasn't when I wasn't familiar with his game coming in and watching him play.
mm-hmm,
You could tell me if I'm wrong, but I when I watch rookie Jaylen Brown, I feel like there is some guys in the NBA that just have this fluidity to their game that's so smooth and so just clean, and they get the ball, they know what they're gonna do. There's no hesitation. It's smooth. It's clean. JB's one of those guys. His post work, his footwork, it's all there, and he's just getting better every year.
yeah. And what kills me is people saying he's overpaid. Well, okay, let him go. Just see what see
See
what
what
happens.
happened. Yeah.
See what happens. I think y'all guys know this too. To win a championship, you need more than one player.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
when y'all won with the big three, like if you didn't have, you
Posey.
know,
Poe.
pose that, yeah. So like you need a whole. It's not nobody wins a championship by themselves. I don't care what
Mm.
they tell you. Michael Jordan didn't win by himself. Hold on one second. My bad, y'all. Hold on.
You're good.
Yeah, Michael Jordan didn't win by himself. Uh, Kobe didn't win by himself. Shaq didn't win by himself. Just look at the team. LeBron never won by himself. So you at least got to have two stars or two
Right.
superstars to even be in that conversation. I think with this Celtics team, the biggest thing for me is being healthy.
Yeah.
They stay
Yeah.
healthy. I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm. You know, I think this is just like you said. Jada's getting better every year. Like, I mean, he
I
is
know.
like the Celtics are not where they are without him getting to where he is now. So, I definitely agree with him getting paid. Like, that's a lot of money, but more power to you, man. I'm happy for him.
And like things like that in terms of the money, the 304, I mean, I would whatever the max is what I would have paid him, because it's like
Hmm.
that's gonna change. So like something I've been saying online recently and on our social medias is in 3 years he's probably won't sniff top 5 biggest contracts. So it's like, sure, right now
Yeah, one hundred
$304 million,
percent,
right?
one
Yeah,
hundred
highest
percent,
paid in the
one hundred
league.
percent, 100
he
percent. The
he was the
money's
first
going
guy to
up
get
every
it.
year. The money is
Exactly.
going up every year. So
Exactly.
I mean, after a while, we're gonna be seeing 400 million dollar contracts. So, more power to them. Just like you said, if you're gonna sign them now. So,
Right, exactly. Lock them up, and you look around the league in terms of where Boston could have gone if they didn't want to pay Brown, which I would have been against, obviously. But I mean, where are you going? It's you could go to Portland, but you're really going to ship a 26-year-old off for a 33-year-old. There's that conversation, and there's just like there's not meant. Tatum in an interview with JJ Redick on his podcast said it himself. The grass is not always greener on the other side. And I feel like that was an example where you look around the league, what's available, who's out there, who wants to play in Boston. JB, he's a guy who's right now is dedicated to the community. He sees growth on opportunity. He's a guy that is so willing to just better Boston right now. And who wouldn't want that, right? You would be crazy to not want a guy that is dedicated on and off the floor.
100%. I don't know why you would. I think he's going to retire a Celtic, me personally.
Whew, I hope so. I hope so, Coach.
I mean, I don't want to like degrade like people in their opinions, and everybody's gonna have something, whether it's good or bad. Everybody's gonna have something good to say. But like my thing is, and it's like I sit here and I'm like, these two have been together. They've gone to what is it? 4 of the last 7 6 or 7 Eastern Conference Finals. They've been to an NBA Finals. They were 2 games away. They were 1 game away last year after being down 0-3. They probably shouldn't have been down 0-3. I'm not justifying that, but they were able to claw their way back and nearly make history. And we mentioned it earlier. Neither of them have hit their prime yet. Jaylen Brown, 26. Jaylen Brown, what is he, 20? Just turned 25 years old. So it's like, whoa, what do we pump the brakes? What are we talking about here? Why are we splitting them up when they've been one of the, if not the most successful duo in the NBA right now? Yeah, they haven't won a title, but at the same time, they're getting you there almost every single year, right? Yeah. And we talked about, Coach, you mentioned earlier, it's not just those guys. It's going to be about the depth. Like, Celtics went out and they got some solid depth. I think people are overlooking the Banton signing and the O'Shea Brissett. Obviously, we got some two-way guys like Jay Scrubb, JD, Malcolm, and Al are probably going to come off the bench depending on whatever. And there's just so much going for Boston right now. I don't get the split the Jays. I can't believe we're in 2023 and we're saying, and we have people saying split the Jays or Jalen's overpaid or don't give JT $315 next year. That's 70% of the cap. It's like, welcome to basketball 2023. I mean, if you want to win, you know what I mean? So it's just it's going to be an argument no matter what.
I say this, man. The 2 franchises they have the fan bases that do that, the Lakers and the Celtics. So yeah, I think I mean, you know this, man. I think these guys know what they're going into. It's kind of like in college basketball. I tell people, Kentucky is like the pinnacle. If you don't play well at Kentucky, you're gonna get trashed, through to the mud, everything. But you have to know what you're getting yourself into. And just as you said, people are gonna have their opinion. They can speak whatever they want. As long as Jaylen Brown, if JT and JB win a NBA championship this year, everybody's mouth will be shit. So I mean, I would love to go to the conference finals every year. I mean, then get put out in the first round. I mean, I don't think Knicks fans love what they keep doing every year. So I think they would trade with you guys. I think they would trade with you guys in a minute. So
I do think that if you look at Brown and Tatum and their trajectory, it's so heavily based on the fact of early success, right? Again, everyone's timetable is different. I said it earlier. So you think you go all the way back to that 2018 series against LeBron. You got a guy who's a rookie and a second-year pro who is, again, his rookie year he wasn't a big part of that first seeded Celtics team. He was kind of coming off the bench, just being a utility guy. So now you have these 2 kids going up against arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. That's a different conversation, though. And they go toe-to-toe with them. And then all of a sudden...
What's that? Coach just side-eyed you.
No, I'm Jordan. Okay, don't worry.
Looks like he's going to tell you to run sprints.
That's why I said arguably. I didn't know. That's why I said arguably. Got to cover all my bases. Don't worry. But no, yeah. So it's like a normal basketball player, year 2 in the NBA, year 3, you're thinking, okay, it's their adjustments years. How do I learn the game? Let me make my mistakes. It's so normal. Growing pains. It's like Brown and Tatum never got to have that. They came in with such success, were so good so early, and it's almost like their growing pains is losing in the conference finals. So it's like, to me, all right, Brown year 7, Tatum year 6, or vice versa, year 8 and 7. Jordan didn't win to year 8. Braun didn't win to year 9. I mean,
KD,
these guys, right? Yeah, KD. It's so normal. It takes till you're 28 to
Jokic.
really. Yeah, Giannis. I mean, the list goes on. It's so crazy to me. It's like, well, hold on. Are we really going to ridicule a fourth year player for being unable to get over the hump? A fifth year player for struggling a little bit? Listen, that's growing pains. So it's like, it's crazy to me. I think this is the year they break through. I really hope so. But at the same time, if it's not this year, again, I'm going to take a second. I'm going to be like, listen, they got time. You can't rush these
I,
things.
I
Yeah.
honestly believe the window, they have a 3-year window
Yeah.
to at least get one. Um,
Mm.
because I just don't see them out the East, me personally. Um, I mean, it depends on what the Heat do with Damian Lillard. I mean, Giannis and the Bucks. I mean, they're
They got to stay healthy too, though.
yeah,
They've been a big question
but
mark as well. That hurt them late
and
last
that's
year.
what I'm saying. So Boston is now you add Porzingis. I mean,
Right.
they're right there. So I think the window for them is 3 years. That's me personally.
Here, here's my thing, Milwaukee. Their window's closing. Their window might have a year, 2 years left. I don't know if they have that 3-year window.
Yeah.
I think Milwaukee, their injury showed last year.
Yeah.
I think it's a struggle to get Lopez and Middleton back. I would not be shocked. I mean, obviously, I think the Bucks are going to dominate the regular season like they always have. But it would not shock me if it was not Boston and Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals and it was another team. But Coach, I want to ask you: do you have any connections, or have you had conversations with? I'm trying to. I just had his name pulled up. It was Robert Williams' trainer. Um,
Oh, elite basketball. I know who you're talking about. I don't know him by
yeah.
his name, but yeah, I know who he is. I definitely
Have
know him.
you had any conversation? Do you have anything on Robert Williams, or just kind of what you've seen from his work on his social media?
Basically, what I've seen, us as trainers, it's easier for us to. It's crazy how social media is. You can know a dude in a different state without seeing him, but you could message him and
Totally.
talk to him. We all respect each other' work.
Yep.
I thought I saw an article where they said he was working on being selfish.
Yeah, yep,
uh,
yep, yep.
and his trainer had to go back and say, "Nah, that's not true. We never said that." Like
Not
so,
last year, Rob passed up a few dunks and opportunities and jump shots, and I guess Tatum harped on him like, "Hey, man, like you gotta if you're open, shoot it. If you're down low, go up with it. Like be selfish. Don't look to pass all the time." What do you see from Robert Williams? I know, you haven't worked with him one on one, but do you think Robert Williams? I've seen him. We saw him kind of extend his jump shot out to that 3-point shot. He's been working on that. Do you think that that's something that he's looking to add on to the game, or do you think? Because I mean, players are always trying to add on, especially nowadays. What does that do for Robert Williams in his game, where he's so great around the rim? If he could even add that little 15-foot jump shot, he's going to be even more golden.
I mean, he should take a page out of Al Horford's book.
Mm,
I mean, I think that would
Absolutely.
be a good. I think that would be a good person for him to look at because once you extend, because this is a different NBA, as we all know. There's
right,
no back to the basket guys, things of that nature. So if you can have that as an element
Hmm.
to pick and pop like Al
right,
does, and as athletic as he is, as a lob threat, as a rebounder, as a shot blocker, that takes that takes the Celtics to a whole different level. Um, I just think that just watching them, because you should expand your game. You shouldn't do too
mm,
much, but you should do what the team needs you to because that also adds value to you.
Hmm.
Um, just say something doesn't have some, that helps him get more money. Like if he can show, hey, I can do this, this, and this. Now you putting everybody at a stronghold. Like, hey, I need a new contract. Hey, I need
Hmm.
right.
to show this. So I think if they can get Rob to shoot threes, and I mean he doesn't have to shoot. He can shoot 30% as long as he's a threat.
Yeah.
Right.
And you just don't have him out because at the end of the day, we all know the biggest thing for the Celtics. I don't think it's the regular season. It's the postseason when
Right.
Right.
everybody has. You have to play. You have to win 4 games. So I'm gonna have to game plan against you every game. If I can show that I can hit that shot, takes them from. I mean, they're either 1 or 2 in the East. That takes them to be winning the finals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I also felt just this year, if they beat Miami, definitely have a chance in the finals because of the matchup.
Right.
I just think the final wasn't a good matchup for Miami. They just played
Mm.
hard. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
knew the finals wouldn't be as good, but to me, they just were tougher than the Celtics. So I just think you got to add that toughness. I think that's one thing the Celtics needs to add that toughness. Somebody that's just,
Well, I'll tell
you
you
know,
what, they lost a dog with
yeah,
that
yeah,
Porzingis trade,
yeah.
but I mean, I almost feel like going back to the Robert Williams thing. It's so funny because I feel like you see big men quickly pick up the jump shot now. I mean, you saw obviously with Al, he
Mhm,
had a record a highest 3-point percentage in his career this year.
mhm.
Brooke Lopez, you've seen it where he just extends his game, and Lopez was a
Chris
big
Stapps.
one, right? Chris Stapps was another one. Lopez was big because he had to play alongside Giannis. You have to play that perimeter well. So what goes into that? And is I mean, growing up, my coaches said, and my dad too, just shoot, 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 shoot. Is it really that simple in terms of if you want to develop an outside game? If you're big, is it really just reps? Are you just shooting?
Uh, I wouldn't exactly say that, but nowadays I think because the game has evolved so much, you better learn how to shoot.
Right, right, yeah,
I think
Right.
like the game is just so different. Like we're seeing guys, Jokic. I mean, Jokic, he's shooting threes. Uh,
Cat.
everybody, like everybody's shooting because it's the game now is about a lot of what you understand about a lot of organizations, how they coach the players is either get to the rim or shoot a three.
right.
Mhm.
I mean, it's on a certain guy, people still live in the league. I
Yeah,
don't
it's a
think it's
dying
nothing wrong
breed.
with the midi, but it's Golden State has revolutionized the game of basketball.
Right,
Oof.
So now when you can add that element to it, yeah, you put up a lot of reps. Like I got some bigs that I work with. It's crazy that you have to, put in some time for them to shoot because now a lot of teams won't even draft you if you can't develop a shot at all. If you're scared to shoot it, they're not gonna put you out there. It's crazy that they look at big guys like, oh, he can't shoot. He
right,
can't shoot. But he's 6'11", athletic, he can block shots. I mean, that's all well and good, but everything has changed so much. So it's about putting up a lot of reps though. Man,
right.
I tell you, man, just watching Al work out, you'll see him. He puts up a lot of reps a shot. And like,
How
he gets them done. So
you sent us a picture of Al working with Jay a few weeks ago. How is Jay kind of taking in that veteran leadership? I mean, Al is. We talk about true professionals. Al is like the true professional. I mean, we have guys all throughout Boston. Everybody looks up to Al Horford on the team. It doesn't matter if they're a guard or forward or a center. Like everybody looks up to Al. Is Scrub been soaking all that in that or those early reps with Al Horford?
man, it's crazy. Like they actually didn't work out. I was sending you a picture, but Scrub works with me. Al works with somebody named D Towns, so we're very close.
Yep.
Okay,
So
Yep.
my biggest thing, and he also works out Matt Brogdon, so we're all in the gym at the same time.
okay,
We're about to start doing some stuff together with those guys,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just about him, listening to vets, giving them
Right.
the ropes. Like Al, when I sent you that picture, they were talking. He was telling them, certain nuances, trying to, get him in. Just watching him being
Yep.
professional. Like every morning, he's on time. He's getting his reps in, then he goes home. Like it's a method to the madness, as you could say.
right.
So it's a blessing to watch him. Just like you say, he's a true professional, man. He doesn't do anything out of the ordinary. I mean, I know y'all see a lot of these guys do. And you can watch, man. It's stuff guys do that I know they'll never do in the game. Al
Right,
comes in, works on his touch, and he gets straight to shooting because he know that's what he's gonna be needed for. So,
right.
and then Malcolm has been real good, man. Just talking up and trying to get him acclimated, getting ready, so when they get to come to Boston. So, man, it's been surreal. I definitely say that.
I want to go really quick, just back to Jay, real quick. Is that all right, Rob? Just
Yeah,
really
yeah,
quick.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I don't know which Rob.
With
Yeah, go
both of you.
Rob.
Uh, oh yeah, that's right. I got Rob Square here. We might as well get Robert Williams in here sometime. But I want to go back to Jay because um, we I when I first reached out to you during the summer league, I mentioned how his Jay shooting just in the summer league looked tremendously consistent. I've watched Jay for a little bit only because I just love his play style a lot, and he just works so hard. And his shot has come a long way as far as consistency wise and efficiency wise, but he could get to the basket like so well. It's like he just puts his head down and all of a sudden he's at the top of the key and then boom, he shoots off and he's at the rim in a lot of and ones in the summer league. He was getting pumped up, flexing the muscles. Is that kind of something that you work on with him, just staying aggressive, whether that's shooting, getting to the basket, just that aggressiveness that he has to play with? Because you watch clips of him with the Clippers in his earlier days in his career, and you compare them to now what we saw just a few weeks ago in Vegas. I mean, he's really a well-developed young player.
I think the game has slowed down. If you've
Mm,
been in the league that long, you kind of see everything. He's been mentored by Paul George and Kawhi, and now,
right,
he goes to Orlando, plays the mat, but then gets a two-way at the end of the year. I mean, it's a young team, but he's one of the vets on the team. But
correct,
man, that's just something that we work on daily. Rim. A lot of that, and I'm being honest, man, a lot of it is him too. Just just having that dog mentality to get to the rim. And,
Right.
I tell him once he go to that left, man, I ain't seen nobody stop him going left yet. So, the biggest thing for us is just continuing to build off of that, but also being able to go to the right, which he can do. Like just
right,
make sure that he gets that once he gets bumped, he can shoot floaters. He's very creative at the rim, as you can see. Flip shots at the rim. Finger rolls, reverses. And then he's athletic. So people didn't see a lot of
right,
dunking, just seen
Mhm.
one dunk. But just knowing that he's an athlete, and then shooting, man, that's just in this game now, that's the biggest thing. If you can't shoot, you can't play for any team in this
Right.
league. Like, especially if you're going, just like I said, you're gonna be a 3-and-D guy. You got to be ready. Like, you got to be ready to shoot. Got to be ready to defensively. So that's one thing we harped on, man. We've been working at this for this year 3. So just getting up a lot of reps and shooting. So I mean, he's continuing to. We broke down the mechanics, broke down everything. So he's getting better each and every day.
You say
mm,
the game slowed down for him, and that's amazing that you said that, because before we started this, that's something Justin and I kind of wanted to tap into, the game slowing down for players. And
Mm-hmm.
mm,
it's such like, when you watch the summer league's an area in which the game hasn't slowed down for a lot of them. Most of those guys are pretty young, right? They're all
Mm-hmm.
usually in the same age group.
Mm-hmm.
I think, is it obviously you said the game's like slowed down for Scrub. It gives him that. I mean, he was almost the best player on the floor every single game this summer league. I mean, he was, when I watched it to the naked eye.
consistently
Yeah, he
consistent.
was. It's a great way to put it. He was consistently consistent, and I think that's why Brad was so fast to jump on him. But when the game slows down, do you think that is when an NBA player can truly and finally be like, all right, I can be me, I can get into my bag, I can get to the spots I want to get to, and that's when I'm going to be my best.
100%.
Right?
That is the biggest thing. Because a lot of guys, it's different. Every level is different. High school to college to NBA. When you get to the highest level, everybody's good. Everybody was a star at their school. So it's kind of, once you get in the league and you see it, once you get there,
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, now this is different. Like, man, the game is fast, but now it's slowed down so much that he's been on the floor with the top NBA guys now. So just seeing everything. He's seeing everything now. So
Right.
once you see everything, I mean, and you're fortunate to stay in the league because a lot of dudes don't after about year 3 or 4. Some
Yeah.
of them had to go overseas. So just by him being in all kind of situations, being able to play, coming off the bench and playing, playing in the it's like so he hasn't it's nothing that he hasn't seen. So that's what every player like we talking about
Right.
JB and Tatum. If you seen them just like you said, JB, if you
Yeah.
seen him as a rookie, look at him now. Everything slowed down for him. Like
Right.
it's
Right.
nothing you can throw at him that he hasn't seen. And now he has the
Mhm.
confidence to know I'm one of the guys here. I'm one
Yeah.
of the guys in this league. So once you know you're one of those guys in this league, it's nothing that can stop
I asked you earlier about you and Jay and you and Jay's reaction about the contract. But what was your reaction, both of you guys' reaction, when you kind of saw the early progression of Jay in Boston, of how he quickly became a fan favorite very quickly in Vegas? That kind of put a smile on your face to see
you.
that
Yeah.
a fan base really likes Jay Scrub that
Mhm.
much that they
Yeah,
want
for
him on
sure.
the team ASAP.
Yeah, for sure. And you just happy for the kid, man. Like
Right.
he's a to me he's an NBA player. It's just about giving the right opportunity and also him taking advantages of those opportunities.
Right.
So just to see the Boston fans say, "Hey, man, we gotta sign this guy." Like he's
Right.
doing it every game. So it did bring a smile to my face, but at the same time, I'll tell you this: as soon as summer league was over, he was right back in the gym. So
Right.
so I mean, it's enough to be on a 2-way, but you want to be on a standard
Standard.
contract. Yeah.
Well,
So
Boston, they use their two-way players. We saw
100%.
multiple times. We saw Davidson. We saw JD. I mean, Cornette started. Hauser started two-way. Like Boston, there is absolutely room on
Yeah.
the Boston Celtics for this kid to
Mm,
absolute. I mean, he's a natural-born scorer, right? If you were to ask
100%.
me, that's how I would describe a natural-born scorer,
One hundred
and that
percent.
that's what we need.
100%. He doesn't think anybody can stop him. He don't. I'm being completely honest with you. He's a very canny individual.
Right.
Does he tell
But
you can you stop him?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Who wins? You
I,
guys play one-on-one?
no, I'm done, man. I seen too many trainers blow their Achilles out. I'm good. I don't
He
plan on
scratches
that.
his head. Nah, man.
I'm not even gonna get into that one.
You just
Nope.
tell him what to do.
Yeah. I,
That's enough right there. That's
I,
enough.
I've retired my shoes, my jersey, everything. I'm not playing no more. I'm good.
Coach, bit of a personal question. What's your favorite thing about your job?
Oh man, impacting lives each and every day. That's the biggest, man. And you would think it'd be the NBA guys, but actually it's the guys that don't make it.
Mm,
Just to see them become men and fathers and
yeah.
ladies becoming, pillars of society. Like those are the ones. Those are success stories.
Right.
Because you're happy for the guys, even the ones that actually get to play, get drafted. Like, man, just see the smiles on, JD's parents and brothers and sisters, brothers' faces, and his hometown and Scrubs' parents and his city of Louisville, and man, just so many more others that I have that I work with. Like those are the best things about it. So getting the impact lives each and every day.
Have you met Shaq? Because I think you've worked out Sharif, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Have you
I
met
have
Shaq?
not met his dad though. I have
No,
not
you
met
haven't
his
met
dad.
Pops.
Yeah, I haven't met Pops. I would love to meet him, but yeah, Sharif is a good kid too, man. Like,
How surreal is that when like you sit back and you realize you grew up watching Kobe and Shaq and now you're here and
Working
you
out,
work with
Shaq. Yeah.
and now
it's
you're working out Shaq's son.
man, it's crazy, but it's also just crazy just to know a lot of, you know, people that have played in the NBA. Like know a
Right.
lot of I know GMs, I know scouts, I know, that I used to watch.
Right.
Like
Right.
Damon Stoudemire, he's the coach at Georgia Tech. He was one, he was with the Celtics last year before he took the Georgia Tech job.
Great coach. We lost a good one.
So somebody like him, somebody I used to idolize when I played. That's the surreal part
Right.
that these guys actually know you when you looked up to them, honestly. So, man, it's a blessing, and God keeps putting things in my avenue. The best is still yet to come. So, man, I just keep on going with the journey.
I mean, what goes on through your mind when a guy like Kevin Herter or Nazir Little calls your phone and says, "I want you," right? Is that not crazy? Like an NBA player is picking you to it's just I can't comprehend that because obviously that's just so cool to me. An NBA player is picking you to just improve their game. Like that's just got to be the coolest feeling in the world, no?
Man, it's cool, but you don't like how other people see it. I don't. That's my job.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
That's true.
I mean,
That's
I
true.
don't I don't get too high and I don't get too low because
Right.
you
Level
know
headed.
a lot of, and I kind of tell you these things. A lot of them guys, it's trainers everywhere, each
Yeah.
state. So when they're in your city, they have to find people to work with. So just I've had a long relationship with Nas, like a
Yeah.
long, me and his trainer like brothers. So I've been knowing him since he was a young pup. So it's
Okay.
it's kind of man, but just to you know, just having the people numbers in my phone.
Right.
Mm.
That's it's funny. Some people I talk to like, hey, you mind FaceTiming them for me so I can holler at them or anything. So for me, it's just it's not you're happy, but at the same time, you're also happy that people respect what you do.
Right. Right. Right.
You
Right.
know, you taking a kid from Selma, Alabama, a 5'7" kid, and he's training some of the best athletes in the world. Like that's a blessing. So
Right.
at the end of the day, I look at it as me, being me. I've gotten to the point. I didn't play in the NBA, but I've
Yeah.
actually worked. I did make it. That's what I look at it as.
Right.
Didn't play, but I
Mm.
still made it. So
Right.
that's just man. It just shows you that your work is working. So
Now we appreciate you coming on because Rob and I'll tell you what, we came together too. We only met like 2 years ago. It's not like we're childhood friends, and we met 2 years ago, and we love the Celtics, we love basketball, and we
mhm,
started this podcast 2 years ago in hopes of eventually turning this into something we do professionally, and
mhm.
to have you come on here
Yes. Yeah.
and it means so much to us. You're a first professional guest,
Yep.
I stress the professional part very, very stressfully.
I appreciate that.
Man, we appreciate it,
I,
and I think it's only up from here because just like the coaches and players, like there's always stuff you want to improve on, and there's always
mhm,
stuff that you want to work on. That's
mhm,
Rob and I in this
mhm,
business, and we're very determined. And when you know we reach out to some other trainers and coaches and players, and just to even if they say no, or even if they say we can, but let's reschedule, let's kind of figure out a better date. It's always a blessing that they even take time to respond to us, right?
Right.
Like that's the cool. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Right.
Like
100%.
that's like that qualifies for everything, including bringing on guests and making connections. And all I can say is we're heading to a lot more Celtics games next year. We're gonna try to make that a more regular thing on our schedules for Rob and I. So I go to every preseason game. They play like 2 or 3 preseason games. I make sure to get it out to those because I love to see guys who might not get the 35 minutes a game in the regular
Mhm,
season. They're getting the 25, 35
mhm,
minutes in the preseason. So
mhm.
I hope to see Rob and I both. We hope to see you in Boston, and we hope
Yes.
to meet up
Sure,
somewhere eventually in the future. And
for sure. But I'll leave you guys with this, man. It's a journey. I
mm,
mean, I didn't start being at training NBA guys. I started training kids,
Right.
and to look back at that, because what you'll be when y'all be a top syndicated radio show, like you have to speak it. Once it happens, at least I know I was the first guest on here, so I get some kudos for that. But
There you go.
I would definitely say that even though the journey is tough, the journey is hard, appreciate it more than if you just gave it to me.
Totally.
Totally,
And I think you
100%.
guys are doing the right things, and I'm gonna help you as much as I can, getting you guests on the show, man. But I just tell you, bro, it's you're gonna get to where you want to go, just like I am. I'm gonna be on.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you, Coach. Thank
I'm gonna be
you.
on. I'm gonna
that's
be on. I'm gonna be on the NBA coaching staff, so that's my main goal.
Right.
right.
So I know we'll definitely be seeing each other very soon. But just
Absolutely.
know it's a journey, and then once you get to that mountaintop, then we gotta go somewhere else. So
That's the
Right.
thing.
it'll happen, man.
This
So I
this year,
appreciate you guys.
this summer league was like the most I think we've interacted with the coaches and trainers and the players. So we really, Rob and I, from the bottom of our heart, we appreciate you coming on, Coach. We really do. I think he lagged out.
Did he? He might have.
He might have, but honestly, that was perfect timing to lag out.
Yeah.